given what we've been talking about, our unsustainable trajectory of debt and growing budget deficits, what should the fate of the 2017 tax cuts that expire at the end of the year, what end of next year, what should we do about those?
Well, one possibility, which isn't so terrible, is to do nothing and just let them expire. And that should be a real option for us.
Bravo.
I was in the White House for what was called the fiscal cliff in 2012, and I think that was a mistaken formulation. When you're up against the debt limit, you must raise the debt limit. It's catastrophic if you don't. When government is shutting down, you must fund the government or it's terrible. Everything will shut down. It'll cease to function. Here, if Congress doesn't pass a law, individual taxes go back to where they were in 2017, the beginning of 2017. That was perfectly fine. We all survived. We all thrived. Life was perfectly good. That could happen. And that's a way of cutting the deficit relative to the current policy we're on, that only requires you to have 1/3 of one chamber of Congress to agree with you, because the president can veto it. And in order to prevent an override of a veto, that's all they need. So that's a perfectly good plan. If Congress wants to do some cool tax reform that is revenue neutral relative to the plan I just said, and make the tax code better than it was in 2017, but collect just as much revenue, that would be even better. I would, if you did it that way, I would start by taking the structural changes that were in that tax reform, like a larger standard deduction and a larger child tax credit and getting rid of dependent exemptions, and extend all of that, but then not extend the tax rate reductions, which are a really expensive part of it. And then you can sort of fiddle from there, broaden the base even more, lower the rates even more, if you want to. So I think it's an opportunity for tax reform, but we shouldn't forget that the main thing the tax code does is raise money. And this is one of the easiest ways we have politically to raise money, ahead of us.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't letting the tax cuts expire sort of give us a double bonus? Not only does it raise revenue and help reduce future deficits, but doesn't it also help us a little bit on the inflation front by taking a little bit of money out of circulation?
Yeah, and that's a difference. I mean, I don't know where we're going to be a year from now, but I think it's more likely that we're fighting inflation than fighting recession. And if that's the case, then the expiration would help. And that's a difference from 2012. We were petrified about a double dip recession. We weren't really out of the financial crisis. The unemployment rate was, I can't remember, but something like 8%. And so we had some justifiable nervousness about the tax cuts expiring. Now, yes, as you said, it might help in the short run with our macroeconomic situation. By the way, it would enable the Fed to cut interest rates more, mortgage rates would come down. So people might lose money on taxes, but they'd gain some money on mortgage rates and other things. So yeah, I think it's a good time for it. And as I said, if Congress can get its act together and improve on that, as long as they don't spend money in the process of improving, that's fine with me. But they don't actually need to do anything.